Welcome to Fringe Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
And we are back.
Hell yeah.
It is Fringe Fanatics. I am Chris Zane.
And I'm Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, guys. It is episode 69 of Fringe Fanatics.
Yeah.
And you know what that means.
Yeah, we all know what that means. Cue the sexy music.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna try and get some real quick, but we'll just keep rolling right along.
I think yours was just fine.
Yeah, episode 69, that means we are featuring an athlete that wore the number 69 and was great at doing so. That athlete is Jared Allen, a former professional football defensive end who played in the NFL for 12 seasons. He played college football at Idaho State and was selected by the Kansas City Chiefs in the 4th round of the 2004 NFL Draft. After 4 years with the Chiefs, Allen was traded to the Minnesota Vikings, where he got a lot of his... most of his run, really, and it was in exchange for 3 draft picks, including a first-rounder. He spent 6 years with the Vikings before joining the Bears as a free agent in 2014, and he actually ended up, as we were just talking about before we got started, playing in Super Bowl 50 against the Broncos on the Carolina Panthers.
Didn't even realize
Yeah.
it. Kind of like one of those veterans that kind of got to
He's probably just a rotation
sub
guy
in.
at the time.
Yeah. But... yeah, man, he was a fun player. I was really happy when the Chiefs had him because the guy brought a lot of energy. He had just like an endless motor there on the DN, and I always loved his signature celebration where he would kind of like act like he was lassoing the quarterback because he's from Texas. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You got to have a good celebration. You got to have a good sack dance.
4-time first-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowl, 2-time NFL sacks leader. And now, wow, I didn't realize he was in the Vikings Ring of Honor. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's also one of the 50 greatest Vikings.
Yeah.
If you would imagine that. That's
Yeah,
a
for
short
his
list
short
to be on.
stint for that he was there.
But yeah,
Wow.
he did in total in his career. He wound up with 136 sacks, 648 total tackles, 4 safeties, 6 interceptions, and 32 forced fumbles, recovering 19 of those. And he also had 4 touchdowns on the defensive side of things, which is pretty impressive for a defensive lineman. It's hard to get those interceptions and run, or even a fumble recovery. Those guys aren't fast.
Yeah. Damn, I didn't realize. I forgot. We drafted him the same year we got Jamal Charles.
No, that's crazy.
That was a hell of a draft for us.
It was a pretty good draft.
Yeah. Well, hats off to Mr. Jared Allen, number 69.
Indeed.
We're
And
almost
now-
till 70, man.
Yeah, we're almost to 70, and Chad's choking on his own spit.
Yep.
He's not going to make it through this episode.
That's why I need to wet the whistle.
Wet the whistle.
I'm going to do this solo.
Yeah,
Cheers.
he's soloing. I'll drink water with him because I'm still. It's still January. So.
Yeah, it is what it is. Cheers, guys.
Cheers if you're drinking. Do a drink with us, even if it's water, like me.
That stings the soul.
Don't feel left out. God forbid.
Oh, yeah.
Chad, how was your weekend this week?
It was pretty uneventful, but then also eventful. Hannah's out of town visiting family right now, so gotta hang out and just do the guy thing and watch lots of sports and UFC back to back. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Made up some buffalo wings and shit. And then, Sunday I went to Don's and had a blast. That was a very memorable experience.
No, was it?
Yeah, it very much was.
That's good.
Yeah,
I'm happy for you.
Really, thank you. I could tell you were. It was really weird. Maybe I knew you meant to do it, but maybe you forgot. But when I first saw you come into work on Monday, I didn't hear you say, "Dude, I'm so happy for you. Congrats,
I'm
man."
not happy for it.
That's why. That must be why. I get it.
Yeah, I was watching the games, and I think Meryl was like, "So you don't even care who really wins?" And I was like, "Nope, not really. Just as long as the Chiefs lose and Chad's not happy." I was like, "That's all I really care about."
What kind of friend is that,
Yeah,
man? Don't you want your friend to be happy? What the hell?
Yeah.
What a weird dynamic.
Also, when the fumble through the end zone for a touchback happened, I was like, oh my God.
I'm glad you brought this up.
If that ends and they lose the game because of that, I was like, oh, I'm going to roast Chad so hard.
You remember we debated this.
Yes, I
yeah.
know.
That's why
I was like, this is going to be so great.
Yep.
I was so excited.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, if this is how it ends.
So
if this is how it ends.
Oh my God. I was so pissed off because that was my first thought. I was like, damn, I can't even argue this because I took the stance as that it should stay that rule.
I was like, oh man, this is gonna be great. But of course,
I'll still stay on that side. I'll still back
of course
my
will.
stance.
Of
No,
course
yeah, I don't want to be biased on it.
The table had been turned and you lost, I bet you'd be like, that rule's bullshit.
No, we didn't, but we lost the fumble. So it's not even like but that happened like.
I'm just saying if you lost the game.
In the third quarter. So, I mean, it wasn't even like a deciding thing. But the fact that, like, it did go against us because he was so close to being down. His ass was like,
it's like
half an inch,
like,
man.
Oh, man.
It was so close. But, I mean, here's the thing, though. I still think it should be that rule and give to the other team because he's an idiot for trying to reach the ball over when you could just fall on it and secure it, and then you're there at the half-inch line. They could have punched it in. But
you got to make the play.
You know, he had 2 touches in that game and 2 fumbles and -1 yard.
That's cool.
Yeah, great wide receiver.
There was somebody else who, I think it was either Montgomery or Gibbs, the over-under on rushing yard total was 61.5.
Yeah, I heard about this.
And, like, the last 4 plays for him were, like -4, -3, -2, like 0, and he got 61 yards.
Yeah.
He got the under.
Oh, man. That's so rough. God. And that came at the end of the game, too, where they're just trying to run out the clock. You know, they're just going to run it, so he's
That's
getting
also
barreled.
why I feel like the kneel downs should not go against quarterbacks.
The rushing kind of total. It's almost like a weird rule stat, like I guess a weird stat. Maybe they should change.
I found something out that they used to do, which I did not know. Today, at the end of games, what used to happen was in the NBA, whoever had the ball last, like on the team that was winning and dribbling it out, would get a turnover.
I never knew that.
Because the game ends and you still have the ball, so they would give them a turnover.
That's such a stupid rule.
They changed it, but
but I mean, even then, it's like the game's over. How is this a turnover?
Why is this a turnover? Nobody's getting the ball back.
That's so dumb.
It was weird. One of those weird stat things.
Yeah.
But,
crazy. But yeah, how was your weekend?
It was good. Also filled with a lot of sports. Meryl's friend Lauren came over to get her hair done on Saturday because she was supposed to come over last Saturday and didn't do it.
Yeah.
She was sick, I think. But she came over, and so I let them do their thing.
Cool.
And I went over to my parents' house and watched the first game. And got some pizza.
Hell
ate pizza. Yeah. And then... I went home and then continued watching sports and let them hang out. And then, I watched the UFC fight for a good chunk, and then I fell asleep during the last fight a little bit there.
Yeah, that can happen. It goes pretty late.
But other than
that's
that,
cool, man.
Yeah, Sunday was pretty chill. Didn't do too much, but we did take the tree down. We got the Christmas tree down, which is middle of January.
What you should have just waited till St. Patty's Day, man, and then just or like Valentine's Day, and then put hearts up on it. Just whatever correlating holiday.
Yeah, it's the holiday tree.
Seriously.
On Easter, we'll put eggs all over it.
Oh man, it's weird. It kind of like starts eating at me after, like not so much me, but especially Hannah. Like her mom was the first person I've ever met that like literally the day you'll wake up on December 26th and I go downstairs and there's no tree.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas is over.
Christmas is gone.
Yeah. We've done it. It's
What's
gone.
done is done.
She gets on top of it, man.
Yeah.
It is down.
My mom usually is like the weekend after, or like, the weekend after or that week of, if it's like this year on a Monday.
Yeah.
She usually takes it down.
Yeah. It's time to move on. Yeah. Yep. It is what it is. So that's good you did that.
Yeah. So we got that done. But yeah, other than that, same shit, different day, dude.
That's it, man.
Here we are.
Just keep chugging along.
Along.
Almost February, man. It's getting close.
Yeah, almost February.
We're down to 4 teams, dude. Down to 4 teams left.
Divisional round is here.
3 white
is over.
3.
Now we're at the championship.
Oh wait, never mind. Yeah.
What were you about to say?
Oh, I was thinking of
wild?
just like the different like minorities in it, but now we got Brock Purdy and Jared Goff, so it's like
yeah,
because in the divisional round, it was a little different, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. I hope that the Lions come out on top. We'll get into this a little bit later, but it's just nuts that we've come full circle, man.
We're here.
The end of the season is here. It
almost
flies
over.
by. Yep.
It didn't feel like that in the middle, but the end goes fast.
Yeah.
There's a point in the middle where I was like, it's long now.
Yeah. Well, it really came to hit me too when that DraftKings league I was in that we brought up last week.
How'd that go?
I finished second. I lost last week, dude. I gambled on going Purdy
you
and Kittle.
You only got money if you won it all, huh?
No. I remember I said it's second, third. So third got 120, but I got second, so it was 420. So
hell yeah, dude.
It was a good number.
That's still rad though. Fuck.
Yeah,
congrats on that.
It's not bad, but yeah, I got second out of all those 32 teams. That was only my second year doing that. Yeah, what's up, bro?
You know, that's the beautiful thing about being in like the championship is you're like, no matter what, I'm winning way more money than I put into this.
Yeah,
you know, it's like house money at that.
I think
point.
I came away because if you win 1 week, like week 6, if you have the highest score in DraftKings that week out of the 32 teams, then you get $50. If you win your division, you get 100. So you got a little extra money from because I won. I had the top score 1 week, so it's a fun league, man. 100. Yeah. My uncle got me into it a couple years ago, so this is only my second year doing it. But he won 2 years ago. But it's just tough, man. Like it's not like regular fantasy. People aren't aware. Like in DraftKings, it's a weekly deal. Each week you pick a different team.
Yeah, and you play like the schedule of a team.
I'm the Commanders, so I play the Commanders schedule. Yeah, and then on DraftKings you change your like profile picture to that, so like teams kind of like who you're playing and all this.
Oh, you can't have funny.
No, yeah, we take it pretty serious, man.
That's fair. You got to.
But yeah, second place in the that league, second place in the podcast league, won my family league, didn't make the playoffs in the work league. So out of would that be 3 out of 4 leagues?
Yeah, not bad.
You got to listen to our advice, guys.
Yeah, and I only played in our league this year, and I finished third. So
yeah, pretty
still
good.
top 3 though. You know. So we may or may not know what we're talking about,
or we're lucky motherfuckers.
Oh, I did forget to mention though. It was my birthday, and I did get this new hat.
Oh, you got that on your birthday?
Yeah, it's made by native folks.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd you get it from?
Meryl's mom got it for me. I think she went to, I don't know if it was like a powwow or what it was. I'm sure Meryl's watching. She'll probably tell me where it was.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Didn't you guys go to eat like at a ramen place whenever it was your birthday?
Yeah, we did. It's called Birdhouse in Erie. The Indian Art Fest. Look at that.
Oh, hell yeah.
So yeah, in Erie, it's a really good, they do almost like a fusion of like, Mexican food and ramen.
Oh my god, what?
It sounds wild, but they do like a really good fried chicken that's gluten-free that Meryl can eat, which is nice.
That's cool.
But they also do like gluten-free ramen noodles that she can have, so she really enjoys it, but it is really good ramen. But then they have like, you can get like tacos, like there's like the grilled chicken taco that's really good,
wild,
and then like a pork belly taco that's really good.
I've never heard of a place that serves ramen and Mexican food at the same spot.
Yeah, they mix it up.
I wonder if it's like a couple that happens to be like maybe Korean
and it's called
Mexican.
Birdhouse, which doesn't really make any
doesn't
sense.
like you would think that's what it would be. Yeah, what a cool place, dude. Up in Erie, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
Oh,
Birdhouse.
I did though. I did have a drink. I forgot to mention that on my birthday. I had one drink.
Yeah.
It was like
good for you, man. You got to.
Yeah, I forget what it was, but yeah, me and Meryl both had a drink on my birthday. So
hell yeah, mad respect, dude.
Yeah, dude.
When we watched the game at Don's, I only had 3 drinks, man.
Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, I could not believe how low my tab was. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's always nice.
This reminds me of like when I was broken. I need to come here.
Yeah, this is all I could afford.
Yeah, seriously.
I was lucky to get 3.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's get into some headlines.
Let's get into headlines. It's time.
Headlines! Get your headlines here!
That's right.
Yep.
It's headlines time, and we are going to start with the NFL, as we do all the time, because the NFL rules all. I got excited on the all.
Yeah.
Said in a hole.
It's also the no fun league.
No fun league, the no fun zone, which is the opposite of what we do here at Fringe Fanatics, where we
have lots of fun.
All the fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, the NFL, we have a couple stories. The Titans are nearing a deal, excuse me, with Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan. His offense was 7th in points per game last year, 26.1, 8th in total yards, 360.5, and 5th in passing yards, 260.5 or 265.0. Also took him to 2 AFC North titles and a trip to the Super Bowl in 5 years. So we'll see.
Yeah.
The Titans are looking to amp up the offense, which is one thing they've always really kind of been lacking. Really,
Very
since
much
Vrabel.
lacking. Yeah. And it's
more of a run.
good hire, I think, because he comes from good roots. You remember who his dad is?
Yeah.
Bill Callahan.
Bill. Good old Bill.
Legend in the NFL, spent like a lifetime in the NFL. And yeah, like Brian Callahan, to lose Joe Burrow and their offense for Jake Browning to step in there. And I mean, it somewhat skipped a beat a little bit. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's still fantasy players out there grabbing Jake Browning. Like they were still moving the ball. It wasn't like the Pittsburgh offense.
That's true, where it just died.
Yeah.
And then you got Mason in there.
Right. So, but they don't. Yeah, the Titans don't have a coach yet, do they?
The Titans?
Yeah. Or no, they. What am I? I'm kind of wondering who their quarterback's going to be. At this
Their
point.
quarterback. Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know what they're going to do.
It's probably going to be Will Levis. Who knows?
They have Will Levis. They also have what's his name?
Well, Tannehill, and then Malik Willis.
Malik Willis. That's who I was trying to think of.
Those are some backwards names there.
Yeah.
Never thought about that. Malik Willis and then Will Levis, dude. Like, what are the odds of that shit?
It's a strange couple names there.
Conundrum.
Take us to the next one.
All right. The Lions acquire veteran tight end Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Compliment Sam Laporta.
Yeah, they did that because they only had 2 uninjured tight ends left on the roster at the moment, as Brock Wright left the game with I think it was like a forearm injury, and he was seen in a sling after the game, so I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Sounds like he may have been done for the year.
Yeah. And we'll get another injury with the Lions later when we deep dive like all of the games, but yeah, injuries are a very key thing right now in this playoff tension.
Yeah.
Who can survive, basically.
Yeah, it's the doldrums of the season right now, where it's like everybody's hurt. Like, how hurt are you?
Yeah.
Can you play?
Can you make it to the finish line?
Yeah.
But, man, I'm excited to see what Zach Ertz can do. He was a hella good tight end for the Eagles, then went to the Cardinals and did pretty decent. But just
did have Kyler Murray as a quarterback, though, so
that didn't really help. But the Lions, Jared Goff loves to throw to Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta had a hell of a game last week, so if he steps in there to give Laporta a breather, I could see him making an impact.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good signing. It's going to be tough getting him acclimated in 3 days for an NFC Championship game, but
go down the field, man. Just run down the
there
field
and wave your arms when you're open. In other news, the Panthers promote ex-linebacker Dan Morgan to head of football operations and GM.
Mm-hmm.
He was the assistant under the previous GM who botched up everything. So we'll see if he can turn things around. But we'll see where they're going to go now for coach.
Yeah, David Tepper's been very notorious for having horrible hires, so it's pretty smart. I was impressed that he actually had a ex-player hire and somebody pretty much within.
Keeping it in the house.
Yeah.
Well, what else do you guys? Is that it?
That's all I got for the NFL, so we cover the games later.
Lord. Jeez Louise, it's time for the NBA.
Wow, some basketball.
Which we are watching right now. The Nuggets taking on the Pacers. I believe we are getting ready to start the third quarter here shortly.
Yeah, it's going to be up shortly, and the Nuggets aren't playing too hot right now, unfortunately.
Damn them.
I'm burning. I need to burn.
I like to burn it. Yes. So big news that happened today in the NBA. Bucks fire first-year head coach Adrian Griffin after 43 games, and they are now looking to hire a veteran coach like Doc Rivers. Is the one that's on
surprised
their
a
radar
lot of people
right
here.
now.
They were 30-13.
Yeah.
They're ruthless. They have high expectations there in Milwaukee.
Yeah, they definitely do. And I don't know if it's just a lack of cohesion with the adding of Dame and everything, or what, they're not getting what they're expecting out of it. But yeah, to be in the position that they are in and getting rid of the head coach, it just makes you wonder if there's some behind the scene things that are a little bit
I don't think Dame and
hard to navigate.
Giannis kind of wanted him there, and then also the ownership might have been upset that they were 27th in defense this year. They might have been able to score a lot of points, especially just last night, we were talking about it today, Giannis had a triple-double, 17 rebounds, had a hell of a game. But, yeah, their defense has a lot of weakness.
Yeah, so we'll see what they're going to do, if they're going to get somebody in there soon or if they're going to let the interim head coach for a little bit. But sounds like they are on the move to get somebody in there quickly. Take us to the next one, Chad.
All right. Pascal Siakam last week, probably not much longer after the episode came out, was traded to the Pacers. Left the Raptors, where he had won a championship.
Yeah, who all did they trade?
I don't remember all the details. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a 3-team trade, I thought.
It was.
Because I think Bruce Brown got traded to
the Raptors.
Yep. And there's a lot of talk that he's going to move on from there.
So, yeah, the Pacers in a 3-team deal that sent Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, Kira Lewis Jr., and 3 future first-round picks to the Raptors. So, yeah, that's pretty nice for the Raptors.
Yeah.
I also heard that they probably were going to buy out Bruce Brown or something, but we can't get him back, so...
It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
but yeah, we're watching Pascal Siakam tonight against the Nuggets, and they seem to be playing. I mean, they don't have their star player, Tyrese Halliburton, and they seem to be doing just fine.
Yeah, he's still coming back from that old hamstring there. He's hamstrung, if you will.
Yep. Well, let's get into another trade that happened today. The Heat trade Kyle Lowry, veteran, to the Hornets for Terry Rozier and 2027 first-round pick.
Nice.
Yeah, good trade here. I think the Hornets really made out like a bandit here because Terry Rozier is averaging 23 points a game. Kyle Lowry is only averaging 8. And Rozier's averaging more rebounds. And then he's also I think 8 years younger or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also heard something about Lowry being... cut or something like that as well.
Yeah, they really haven't had the success there in Miami that they're one. I mean, they made the finals last year, but he had a really bad finals.
Yeah. On the other side of things being bad, there was some crazy things that happened last night in the NBA.
Yes, there was.
Embiid, who we begrudgingly talk about on this show.
We have to objectively, we'll just put that as a disclosure, always objectively have to talk about it.
Yeah, so Embiid dropped 70 last night, breaking Wilt's 76ers record of 68 points, setting the new franchise record against the Spurs last night. He ended up finishing with 70 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists in the 133-123 win over the Spurs, who are one of the worst teams in the league. So while it is cool that he did score all those points, it is against the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
And they were clearly feeding him the ball to get him points there at the end.
Nobody takes 42 shots a game.
42 shots.
It's ridiculous.
And 23 free throws. So he gets his average of over 18 free throws almost every night. So good for him.
Well, and if anybody out there is wondering, well, how did he break Wilt's record? Wilt had 100. That actually kind of weird stat here. That's when Wilt Chamberlain was on the Philadelphia Warriors before the Philadelphia Warriors moved to Sacramento. And then Wilt changed teams, and then he came back to Philadelphia when they became the Sixers.
Yeah.
Yep. But, yeah.
So, there's that for you. And then also, Karl Anthony Towns has a huge night as well, going for 62 points, setting the franchise record for the Timberwolves in their 128-125. Here's the kicker.
He says he sells
Loss.
My bad.
Chad's playing sounds over there. So 128-125 loss Monday night over the Hornets, where I believe the coach at one point in his postgame said they were embarrassing.
He goes, it was
immature.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought this up, the press conference, because I think that was directed a lot towards Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, taking so many shots. He had an amazing first half. Then the third quarter, he started to really fall off.
44 points in the first half.
Yeah, 44 points in the first half, and then went 2 for 10 in the fourth quarter, and the team ends up losing. Yeah. I mean, he called it, I think, a disgusting performance.
Yeah. Towns finished 21 of 35 from the floor, went 10 for 15 from 3, and now holds the Wolves' top 3 scoring games.
Damn.
He eclipsed his own best of 60 points, and all of this happened on the anniversary of the night that Kobe scored 81 points.
The legendary night.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that, man. It's like there's sports memories that you have, I'm sure you have, that like I'll never forget. Like maybe it wasn't like that. Yeah. I didn't watch that game, but I went to school the next day in high school, and it's like all anybody could talk about.
Yeah,
is Kobe's 81-point game.
So pretty cool. Maybe Kobe was in the air last night.
Yeah, I think they might have been honoring
There was
him.
a joke there that we could have said, but
don't do it.
Don't do it. You'll get,
You're not an Ari Shaffir.
You'll get banned like Ari Shaffir on Twitter.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else for the NBA?
I believe that. Yep, that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into the NHL right now.
Let's fucking do it.
Dude, let's do it.
Do it to do it. Hockey time. All right.
Hockey time. Oh, real quick, though. We didn't go over the standings.
For NBA, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we should because it's getting pretty close.
Rewind. We got excited, people. Sorry, it happens to the best of us.
And before you mention the standings, because we said we're watching the Pacers and Nuggets tonight, if the Nuggets win tonight, they will tie the Timberwolves for first place in the West.
Yeah, they will.
They're only a half game back.
Well, it's weird because we played more games. So we're technically in third right now, but it's very confusing.
Winning percentage, yeah.
But let's talk about the Eastern Conference. We'll go down the top 3. We've got the Boston Celtics sitting at 34 wins and 10 losses. They are 7-3 in their last 10 games. Behind them, we have the Milwaukee Bucks sitting at 30-13, and then the Philadelphia 76ers at 29-13, right behind the Bucks, who again just fired their head coach, and they are in second place in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and unbelievable high standards.
Definitely. Take us to the Western Conference, Chad.
All right. Well, I didn't have it pulled up.
I'll keep going then. Western Conference, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves, as Chad just mentioned, sitting at 30 wins, 13 losses. They are 6-4 in their last 10 games. Behind them, the Oklahoma City Thunder, 29-13, and then the Denver Nuggets are sitting at 30-14 because we've played one more game than everybody else. So
that's what happens when you're reigning champs.
Yeah, it's you play more, I guess.
Yep. Damn right.
All right.
Tight race
now,
there at the top.
Rewind and listen to the NHL sound again.
Boom, boom.
All right, back to the NHL. Patrick Waugh assumes the head coach role of the Islanders and wins his debut against the Stars. And ironically, it all happened on a Matt Duchene turnover. And the reason this is ironic is that when Patrick Waugh was the head coach of the Avalanche, there was a famous rant he had after a game in which Matt Duchene scored his 30th goal and celebrated like he just won the Stanley Cup, and they were a losing team at the time, and Patrick Waugh ripped him after the game. And then Patrick Waugh ended up quitting right before the season started, and that is why we have Jared Bednar as the head coach, because the Avalanche had no idea what they were going to do as all the coaching hires had already happened, and then they went and got this head coach from a little-known league, and now we have one of the best head coaches in the NHL. So
and he's
look at that.
Stanley Cup champion now.
Yeah, definitely. So congrats to Patrick Waugh, or Roy, if you are from America and don't like to do the French-Canadian thing. But anyways, Chad, take us to the next one, man.
Well, we're going to keep going with the Avalanche here, because I just want to cover Avalanche's own Nathan MacKinnon over his last 31 games. He's been playing out of his mind. All right. In his last 31 games, 20 goals, 36 attempts, 56 points, and 1.81 points per game. He's now the league leader in points.
Yeah, and he is the odds-on favorite to win the Hart Trophy, and he's pulling away now pretty handily. I think it was, Thursday night? Or maybe it was Friday night when they played. He had a 5-point game and had a chance for a hat trick and then pass it off to Logan O'Connor to get his first hat trick ever.
Oh, wow.
And so that was pretty cool. But
that
yeah, Nathan McKinnon is playing out of his mind. The Avalanche are struggling with their goaltending, but they are still up there at the top of the league.
You know they can tell, too, because they're like, well, we're going to score 7 goals since we're giving up 4.
We don't want to, but we're going to have to score 7 to beat you. Yeah.
Crazy, man. They need to get a better goaltender for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do about that. But, okay, so now let's go to the next news story in the NHL. The Calgary Flames forward Dylan Dubé is taking an indefinite leave of absence to address his mental health. At 25, he is in his 6th season at Calgary since being selected 2nd overall in the 2016 draft. And we've kind of been talking about this. I think a lot of these guys are running into the issue where they've been playing at a high level for a very long time. Most of these guys start playing, 16, 17 pro hockey, more or less. Mm-hmm. And I think you're seeing a lot of the stuff starting to weigh on these guys. You had Sam Girard of the Avalanche going into the player assistance program. It's Val Nichushkin also went in there. These guys, I think it's just a lot to deal with playing this much all the time at a high level. I mean, you look at these guys in the NFL playing 16 games and the effects it has on their body doing that. And then imagine playing 82 games, and it's just like a nonstop, rigmarole of constant trying to be your best. And a lot of these guys, I think, are having an issue with that. We're seeing a lot of them actually come out and deal with it, which is a good thing to see. So yeah,
that's good.
Definitely.
Got to address mental health.
Yeah, mental health.
Yep.
Got to be healthy in your brain.
Yep. Speaking of that, the Oilers are pretty healthy lately. They are the NHL's hottest team right now.
Nice segue.
Yeah, pretty smooth. Yep. Oilers are sitting in a 13-game win streak, and they actually just acquired Corey Perry and not Bedard. McDavid. McDavid's pretty stoked about it. He signed a 1-year, $775,000 deal. The rich just get richer.
Yeah, we'll see if they can continue their streak. Didn't you want to talk about the old Bruins as well?
Yeah, the Bruins defeated the Jets the other night. The Jets, like we were talking about with goaltending, they have some of the best goaltending in the league, and the Bruins beat them, and they just beat up on the Avs a few days ago, too.
Yeah, they did.
Maybe it was like close to a week. Yeah, they extend their win streak to 5.
5 of them things. That was all I had. What do you got? Anything else?
That's it, man.
All right, let's run down the standings real quick. In the Eastern Conference, since we'll just do each of the divisions, we have the Atlantic Division, the Bruins, who we were just talking about, sitting at 29 wins, 8 losses, with 9 overtime losses for a total of 67 points. In the Metropolitan Division, we have the New York Rangers with 29 wins, 15 losses, 2 overtime losses for a total of 60 points. Moving into the Western Conference, we have the Winnipeg Jets with 30 wins, 11 losses, 4 overtime losses for a grand total of 64 points. And just for homerism, the Colorado Avalanche are right behind them with 30 wins, 14 losses, 3 overtime losses, and 63 points. Mm-hmm. Moving into the Pacific Division, we have the Vancouver Canucks, 32 wins, 11 losses, 4 overtime losses for a grand total of 68 points. So that is going to wrap up the leaders of all of the divisions for the NHL, and we are going to move on to something else. You want to go into the MLB real quick?
Let's do it.
Let us do it.
On a juvenile delinquent,
the All-Star Weekend coming up pretty soon for NHL.
Yeah, it's
a couple weeks
here
away.
before we know it.
That's right. In his first offering, just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Very loud.
Very aggressive.
Very aggressive if you slam that.
Well, there's some Hall of Flamers.
Hall of Flamers?
Yep. That got selected.
Yeah, today it came out that Adrian Beltre Todd Helton and Joe Mauer will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. This is the class of 24. Just to give you a quick little rundown of why Beltre accumulated the third highest WAR ever among third basemen in a 21-year career that saw him play for the Dodgers, Mariners, Red Sox, and most notably the Texas Rangers. He is among only 4 players throughout history, regardless of position, to reach 400 homers and 3,000 hits, while also accumulating at least 5 Gold Gloves. There's a bunch more on him, but we're going to move into Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer won batting titles in 2006, 2008, and 2009, becoming the only catcher in history to lead his respective league in batting average on 3 separate occasions. He was voted American League MVP after a sensational 2009 season. He is also one of 6 catchers with at least 3 Gold Gloves, 3 Silver Sluggers, and he was unusually tall at 6'5" for a catcher, which
That's
you
big.
usually see the little guys back there because they're crouching down a
little
lot.
pudgy guys.
Yeah, Pudge, yeah.
Yep.
Mauer batted .306 in a 15-year career spent entirely with the Twins, accumulating 2,123 hits and 143 home runs. These guys, him and Helton, are kind of the last of the dying breed of these guys that are going to spend their entire career with.
You'll
one
never
team.
see that again.
Helton. He had, his career numbers. Todd Helton, 316 batting average, 414 slugging. He had 2,519 hits, 369 home runs, 1,406 RBIs. He also had 3 Gold Gloves, which at first base put him in elite territory at his position. Unfortunately, he had to deal with the negative effects of playing at Coors Field. Voters kind of gave him some negative marks for the fact that the Coors Field lack of air inflated his numbers a little bit. So
it sucks. It changes things up here a lot.
Yeah, it does.
But he's considered the best Rocky in franchise history. Would you agree?
He is the best. I mean, I would like to have said that Arenado would have been, but they ruined that.
Yeah.
So
traded him away.
Yeah, so Todd Helton spent his entire career with the Rockies, so I think it's really cool he got in. There's probably not going to be too many Rockies that get the chance.
Right.
Larry Walker made it in, but he was not a full-time Rocky. So, yeah, and like I said, there's probably not going to be too many more of these guys that finish their whole career. So,
and you will maybe never see it again.
yeah, so that's all I've got for the MLB.
All right, you want to move into some college sports?
We will, and we'll just we need like an all-encompassing college sports.
Maybe something from Rushmore. Van Wilder. Let's do that.
Needle dick.
Just like pull something from a movie.
Needle dick.
Yeah, we'll have to find something.
Maybe Animal House.
Maybe.
Yeah, classic movie.
Your name is Needle Dick.
Your name is Dido Dick.
All right. Well, we only have a few news stories. We'll run over this real quick. We'll get to the quick rankings, and then we'll talk about this kind of news story that happened last night. In the men's basketball, UConn still number 1, and in women's, South Carolina still number 1. Last I checked, I think Colorado just beat, because Colorado women's CU's ranked number 3.
Yeah.
And they just beat number 9 or number 6, I think, the other night. I can't remember which one it was, but they won. They had a really big win. Pretty cool. But let's get into last night, where Iowa was upset by Ohio State, and Caitlin Clark got knocked down to the floor.
Yes. Was it a flop or was it a foul?
Or does it? It's like, does a tree make a sound in the forest? Because is it a flop if it happened after the game?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she's taken out by Ohio State fan. Storms the floor. They were storming the floor after the upset win. To me, I think she could have avoided the whole situation entirely by just not running into the girl, but it did kind of look like she was running for her and then was looking for the contact, and then she did like a pirouette, like,
oh yeah,
and then like crumpled to the ground,
totally spun around, and then fell to the ground like she just got like hit by a car or something. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. I think she was just trying to make a big deal out of nothing to
Yeah.
kind of prove a point that it's ridiculous that people storm the courts as much as they do. Maybe
It's hard not to when you get a bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds just raging
hammered,
and going crazy,
hammered drunk.
Well, I don't think they can drink at college games.
They're
right?
drunk.
They get drunk. What am I thinking? You can't look at the Duke crazies and think they're sober. But yeah, I mean, this has been something that's been ongoing even with football, where they're not happy with them storming the court. They've been fined for it. When KU was just upset last week, I said how UCF, the NCAA fined them $25,000. So it's, it's all based on like player safety. And I mean, it's everything, it's fan safety, people getting trampled and stuff like that. It's hard not to do. It looks cool, but I think especially because of this incident, flop or not, we might see more strict rules where there's more security, or maybe, I don't know, whatever they could punish.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it a lot too, just in the college football realm, and the fines are a lot more in the college football realm. I think they're in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's like $125,000 or something like that if you guys storm the field. But yeah, it is. You do always wonder how many people get fucked up in those.
Oh yeah, I always thought that, man. It's just like a big mosh of people like going crazy. Somebody gets fucked up in there.
Yeah, I mean, mosh pits are dangerous. I got my nose broken in one. It happens.
Did you really? I didn't know that. Shit.
I didn't even really want to be at the concert, but I was like, I'm gonna go dick around in the mosh pit, and there's a bad idea.
Damn.
My brother Jeremy was like, "Do you want to go to this Devil Driver concert with me?"
God.
And I was like, I guess. And so we went, and then
and you get your nose broken
during the Devil Driver set, I decided to go in, and I was like going around in the circle pit, and I was like, I'm kind of over this. And like the circle pit was going this way, and then I just stopped and like was like, I'll leave, and like walked backwards. Like, well, I walked back out the way it was spinning, and then some giant dude's shoulder just crushed me right in the face.
Oh shit!
It was at the Fillmore, and like I like saw stars because he just smashed my face. And then, like, all of a sudden, I'm just like, oh, what the fuck? And I'm, like, looking around, and there's just blood rushing out of my face. And
Dude,
I was like, what the fuck?
When nose breaks happen, it just gushes blood.
Yeah.
Just
I
a
bled
fountain.
all over the Fillmore.
God, that
and
sucks,
then
man.
we walked over to the EMTs, and they're like, there's nothing we can really do. And I was like, I figured, but I just wasn't sure because I'm, like, bleeding everywhere.
Fuck. They're like, yeah, that shit happens.
Yeah, so that was exciting.
You're
But,
moshing.
yeah, it can happen when you're in a big group. You get trampled.
Shit gets wild.
Get your nose broken.
Yeah, we might see this change eventually, but I mean, it also sucks because I mean that's some of the most iconic like scenes in sports when you see a whole court or field stormed. I mean, it's tough to take one side of it.
There was a chick in like the 70s or 80s that got famous for going to different stadiums and like trying to kiss players on the field. She would like go walk out.
Oh wow.
And kiss players on the field.
Never heard of that. That's pretty wild. Well, I do believe that's all we got for college sports. You got anything else, man?
I don't.
All right. Well,
her name was Morgana.
Whoa.
Morgana Roberts.
She sounds like
she
someone that might do that.
became known as the kissing bandit in baseball and other sports from 1969 through 1999. Huh.
Wow.
She kissed for a long time. That's a long kissing career.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. Yeah.
Good for her.
She just wants to kiss all these players.
Well, we got to talk about a little bit of the UFC.
Yep, we had a main event.
We did.
Let's get it on!
And they got it on.
Yes, they did.
It was a fight for the ages.
It was a war. Dricus Duplessis defeats Sean Strickland in a split decision. And it's a pretty controversial split decision. A lot of people think that Sean Strickland won. I'm of the belief that DDP did win, but I mean, I could see it going either way for sure. But regardless, man, that was a complete war these guys were in. I mean, when it came down to the end, you knew they were desperate and they were just throwing blows at each other, man. Back and forth, just haymakers. I mean, both their faces were fucked up. Sean was just bleeding profusely from his left eye.
Duplessis looked like Rocky.
Yeah,
like I thought he was going to yell for Mick to cut him.
His was swollen up. It was rough, man, but super entertaining. DDP is the new champion, first South African champion. pretty impressive. I mean, he has such an unorthodox style where he's just almost in there like someone that's drunk almost. Like he just swings haymakers from all angles. Not much style or technique to it, but hey, it works.
It does work, and which is surprising against someone like Sean Strickland, who's kind of been known as this like tactical striker. He brought the Philly shell into the UFC, and it worked greatly against Adesanya. And even Duplessis was saying his jab is like getting hit with like a rock.
Yeah, you can tell.
He
hits hard.
It's like a jackhammer over and over again. And Adesanya said the same thing. He's like, his jab it just surprises you because it's doing so much damage when you don't think it's going to be.
He's got so much power and impact behind
He flicks it out there.
Yeah, just so fast, man. But it was pretty wild because Dreykus really didn't ever let him be the aggressor. He was the one putting the pressure on most of the time, and it was really it was the first time we'd really seen a fight like that against Sean Strickland.
Yeah, it's tough because like in the first round, it did look like it was Sean's fight to lose, and then in the middle rounds he did lose it.
Yeah,
Duplessis just kept the pressure on him,
and he had those takedowns.
The takedowns, those are going to score you good too.
Yep.
But yeah, just looking at the split decision, it was 48-47, 47-48, 48-47. So
super close.
Yeah, very close fight. Dana comes out, and we were talking about this earlier. I think it's a little bit ridiculous to come out and like always bash either the judges in fights or just the outcomes of fights.
It makes you look bad.
Yeah, it makes the product look like it's not very trustworthy.
Yes.
When even the guy owns, it's like, yeah, it was bullshit. Yeah. I think it's bullshit too. And it's like, well, if you're Drake, you're like, I just lost like $500,000 because of that.
700. He put 700 on Sean to win.
I didn't see how much he put, but I always know it's like $500,000. So
yeah, and it was funny too because when everybody saw that, God damn it, Brown. When everybody saw that Drake put the money on Sean, they were like, well, okay, I guess Sean Strickland's losing.
Yeah.
The Drake
curse, it's real.
It is, dude. He doesn't know how to bet.
He's going to have guys being like, dude, please do not bet on me.
Yeah, seriously, man. Anytime I see he puts money on the Chiefs,
who Drake bet on? Like, all right, I'm not fighting that.
Go with the other guy.
Yeah. Also in the co-main event, Raquel Pennington defeats Mayra Buena Silva.
Yep. Out of Colorado Springs.
Yep. Colorado Springs, born and raised, I believe.
Yeah.
For the vacant UFC women's bantamweight title, which was given up after Amanda Nunes retired. And then there was like a little bit of rumblings. I don't know if you heard this, that she kind of made a statement like maybe she'll be coming back.
Whoa, I didn't hear any of that.
I don't know. I didn't look into it too much, but I saw that there was something that she said something about the lack of competition in that weight class.
Dang, that'd be crazy. Back. Well, she was there in attendance, and I think she would even came in there whenever Raquel got her belt. She just seemed so happy for her and everything like that. It just seemed like
she's gonna come destroy her.
Yeah, she's like, because she beat Raquel back. That was Raquel's first title shot a long time ago, and whoever Amanda comes back and fights, it's gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah,
unless it's Julianne Pena, but she did beat her that last time. Who knows? But I think it's February 15th or 6th.
February.
Yeah, 5th. No, let's say my disappointment is on 16th, so it's 17th. Yeah, the 17th is the next pay-per-view. Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilya Topuria.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go over when we get close to it, but Tapatio, that's who he's fighting. It's a hell of a card.
Well, that's going to do it for headlines, guys. We're at that point of the show where we take a break. And
you're going to listen to some jams?
Yeah, you're going to listen to some jams. If you are listening or watching after the fact, you are about to hear Flight Kamikaze. We have one more week, right?
Yeah.
Of this month?
No, well, yeah, because if we record on Tuesday.
Yeah, because it's the 23rd.
Yep.
So, we have one more week of Flight Kamikaze, and the name of this song is Swallow My Tongue.
Whoa.
If you haven't yet, please go check out Flight Kamikaze on all things streaming, wherever you get your music. We will be right back. Stick around, guys. And we are back for the second time of episode 69. You guys just heard Swallow My Tongue by Flight Kamikaze. If you haven't yet, like I said before, please go like and follow them on all things streaming, and make sure to stop by their Bandcamp, flightkamikaze.bandcamp.com. You can get access to all of their merch and stuff like that there. So make sure to give them a follow, and hopefully their fans do the same for us. So
I sure hope so. That's a cool song name.
It is Swallow My Tongue. It's what you don't want to do when you have a seizure.
Yeah.
God forbid.
You don't want to do that. Don't bite on it.
Yes. It is time now for the NFL Deep Dives. And we are going to hear this one.
Yeah, he got hit with a left hook by his own guy. He was looking at his ear hole for a minute. This isn't a good sign.
You okay? No, my hurt already.
Your partner knocked your head off.
Knocked your head off. Let's go, buddy.
Partner dang near knocked her head off. It is time for the divisional round Hoedown.
Yep.
Which is what we're going to call this episode probably. We are going to break down all 4 of the games from this last weekend. And we are going to start with the Saturday games, which had us see a game I was hoping was going to be a little bit better in the first game, and then a game that we kind of figured was going to be pretty good in the second game. But
yeah, the second game was pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll start with the first game, and that is the number 4 Texans taking on the number 1 Ravens at home. And the Ravens absolutely dismantled the Texans
in the second half,
4-10. Yeah,
yep. It was a close game.
It was a close game. Houston tied the game 3-3 after a Tucker field goal early in the first quarter. The Ravens had a 76-yard touchdown drive, though, that was ended with a 3-yard pass to Aguilar that brought it 10-3. And then the Texans struck back with a 67-yard punt return in the second quarter. But that was all.
That would end up being their only touchdown.
Yeah.
They didn't get an offensive touchdown.
Yeah,
the Ravens.
The Ravens defense just shut them down after that.
Yep.
Lamar throws for 2 touchdowns and runs for another 2.
Had 100 on the day, and it's crazy because he had it split up perfectly too. 50 in the first half, 50 in the second half.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
He is the first QB with at least 2 touchdowns thrown and 2 touchdown runs, as well as 100 yards rushing and a 100 passer rating. His final stat line for the game was 16 of 22 for 152 yards, the 2 touchdowns through the air, 11 carries, 100 yards rushing, and those 2 touchdowns rushing. The Ravens, just not even Lamar by himself, outrushed Houston 229-38 in terms of yards. So it was just a battering ram.
A complete wallop.
Justice Hill, 13 carries, 66 yards. Gus Edwards, 10 carries, 40 yards. Lamar was the obvious leading rusher.
You even had Dalvin Cook in there.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook.
Couldn't do anything on the Jets.
No.
Gets behind that Ravens offensive line and then just has no problem.
8 carries, 23 yards. So they ran all over them.
Yep.
We saw, Stroud didn't look that bad, but he didn't look that good either.
The Ravens were giving him a lot of trouble.
Yeah. He didn't get sacked or have any turnovers. He also didn't have any touchdowns, though, as he finished 19 of 33 for 175 yards. This
is a guy that averaged 260 or something on the year.
Yeah, he had a stretch of 3 or 4 games with over 300.
Yep. He led the league
touchdowns.
in games, yards per game.
But
all right, Jokic is coming back.
Things are looking up for them. It was a weird weekend because I felt like most of the teams that lost feel good after the loss.
It is weird when that happens.
I felt like the
good.
only game that wasn't going to have that for either team was Sunday night's game.
Damn right.
I felt like there was going to be questions whether the Chiefs lost
or the Bills.
The Bills. Obviously, the favored teams in the first 3 games were the teams that we expected to win.
They were number 1 seeds.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
But
dude, the Texans last year, 2-14, or I guess 2 and what'd that be? 15. They played 17 games last year. Yeah. So 2-15, I think. Go out there, get Will Anderson, get C.J. Stroud. D'Amico Ryans is now the head coach. Got Jimmy Ward from the 49ers. Completely turn that around. I think if you were to we've talked about Dan Campbell as Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski making it to the playoffs with 4 different quarterbacks. It's so tough. Like, you could really give this award to 3 different players, but DeMeco Ryans, if you were giving it to him as the whole, I think he deserves it.
Yeah, I agree. I do think he deserves it the most because you look at the Browns, they have a really good roster.
Yeah.
They have a really good team on both sides of the ball. And you look at the Houston, who after the trade, everybody's like, they're screwed for years. Like, who knows what's going to happen? And now you made it all the way to the divisional round of the playoffs. The future is very bright for them.
In that window, when you got a rookie quarterback on that rookie deal and he already is hit the ground running after year 1,
and their stable of wide receivers who nobody knew who the hell they were before the season started.
Tank Dell, Noah Brown, because you look at
Nico Collins,
who was drafted before Nico
Jonathan
Collins.
Mechie.
I mean, a bunch. Yeah, then they got Mechie too. I mean, they even have good running backs too. Damian Pierce is he was
he was one of the best rookie running backs last year.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a good thing to see for them. The Ravens now get to host their, I think it's like the first time since 1979 or something like that.
No, I thought it was their first time ever hosting the AFC Championship.
It might be.
Yeah.
But yeah, nonetheless, they get to host it at home. And they're going to take on the Chiefs. So we'll see how that goes. I believe that one's the early game, isn't it?
1, yeah.
Yep. So next Sunday at 1. I didn't see any injuries for the Ravens, did you?
Well, just to kind of cover a couple that were out last week that has a chance to play this week. Mark Andrews is questionable.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Likely to play, I would imagine. And then Marlon Humphrey, who didn't play last week, is questionable, probably going to play. That sucks.
Yeah, they said Mark Andrews probably could have played this week, but I think they just were like,
I think they were, like, we could do it with that. I mean, they got Isaiah Likely, dude. That could be a number 1 on any team, probably.
Yeah, pretty much, which is nuts. But yeah, that's all I've got on that game. Do you got anything else you want to add? Or?
Nope. Let's move to the Niners and Packers.
The Niners and the Packers.
Yep, where the Packers almost finished it off. They had a 7-point. No, it was a 4-point lead with 7 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter.
This one would sting a little bit for me if I was a Packers fan, just because you had this game.
And they not only that, it's just like the Bills. Like, they cannot beat the Niners in the playoffs. It's just so funny, all the memes where it's like Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre laughing together, and the text says, "Yep, he's just like us."
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, damn, dude. It's just so, but you're right, dude. They really should have won this game. And I really thought they would too, because I was very much aware of the stat that the Niners and mainly Kyle Shanahan,
the stat's insane,
was 0-30 when trailing going into the fourth quarter. He is not good at coming from behind. This is the one exception now.
And I mean, Purdy looked rattled all night, struggled to grip the ball at times. He finished 23 of 49, 252 yards and a touchdown, but he drove them down the field when it mattered, which was right there at the end. On that last drive, he went 6 of 7 for 47 yards. But, what really screwed them was when Debo went down. What was it, the second quarter?
Oh, no. I think it was like right early in the first quarter. Yeah,
Debo,
the first time second time he got the ball.
Oh, yeah. And Debo, when he went down, that was just, you saw the offense just completely grind.
It changes up that offense so much.
I forget what the stat was, but like
they were talking about the yards per play. It's 7, like almost 8 yards per play.
It's like 6 something.
Yeah, 6.1 whenever he's out. Like, that's crazy that he has such a big impact.
Yeah, and then another thing that was crazy for the 49ers, the defense that had been rock steady most of the year gives up huge plays, and then the special teams even failed them. But they did manage to break the streak, like you said. McCaffrey's 2 touchdowns, especially the last one with 1:09 remaining, pretty much sealed the deal. McCaffrey, again, the Swiss Army knife of football players, 17 carries, 98 yards, the 2 touchdowns, and then 7 receptions for 30 yards. And Kittle, which, didn't you take him in your draft games?
Yeah, I did. He had that big, few big catches. That
he was the leading receiver. Yeah.
Yeah.
4 receptions, 81 yards, and a touchdown.
Pretty good game.
But love. It was a terrible throw, the last throw of the game there.
It was really bad.
Across the body. It was like 1st and 10, which you didn't even need to make the throw. But that's just something that a rookie quarterback is going to do. and the fact that, you know, he did it in a divisional playoff game, you should feel pretty lucky about.
Yeah, and like you said about the Texans and stuff, you got to hang your hat on the fact that was the youngest team in the NFL was the Packers, and they made it this far. You look at their future going forward, a complete stable of wide receivers, just like the Texans.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like for the Chiefs just to get one of those guys. And, yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're going to re-sign Aaron Jones next year. They can really look bright for their future.
Yeah, Aaron Jones, I think, finished like the last 6 games with like over 100 yards or something.
Yeah, I think it was
like
111 was the
He had 108
floor.
today. Today. He had 108 in that game with 18 carries. Romeo Dobbs was the leading receiver, 4 receptions, 83 yards, and then Love, 21 for 34, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, and the one, of course, that ended the game. But yeah, the future is looking bright for the Packers. I would love to be a Packers fan right now. Again, another team that after the trade of Aaron Rodgers, you think, oh my God, the sky is falling, and then here you are, you know, right back to where...
Right back in the NFC.
Yeah, right back
in the divisional round at least.
Right back in the divisional round like you never skipped a beat, and you lose to the 49ers like you never skipped a beat, because this is, I think, the 6th time they've lost to the 49ers.
And I didn't realize it either. It's crazy that they have met more in the playoffs than any other duo in NFL history.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, the 5th straight playoff victory over Green Bay. That sucks, dude.
Yeah, that's gotta be
rough.
salty.
Yeah, it's gotta feel like the Bills.
Exactly.
Big injuries though. Debo injured his shoulder, no fracture. It's looking like though he may be 50-50 as to whether or not he plays.
50-50. We'll have to see. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's probably not going to be good. I think the Lions have a pretty good chance.
I think so too.
The way that the 49ers played at home to play like that, it wasn't good. And you got to really hope there's no inclement weather, because Brock Purdy does not like weather.
That was my big mistake in my DraftKings lineup, man.
Purdy.
Yeah, and it was so funny because my uncle was really trying to talk me into starting Mahomes and Kelsey, and when Kelsey had those 2 touchdowns, after the first one, I was like, I should have listened to him.
Yeah,
probably would have won.
Sucks.
But yeah, I mean, Brock Purdy, I started him almost like a ton of weeks this year, and it paid off. But man, he cannot throw the ball in like rainy weather at all.
Yeah, I don't know if he is like the Kenny Pickett small hand syndrome or what, but he could not grip the ball. Even on that last drive, at one point he snapped the ball and then was wiping his hand before he re-gripped and threw it again right away.
I can't believe
you did. Like, how did you do that? And
that was
fumble
fast.
The ball.
Yeah, that was bold right there, man. I mean, he was overthrowing people. The timing was off. But I'm glad I remember this. I did want to mention this. They mentioned it on First Take this morning, and I never knew this. You know the infamous game with Joe Montana and the catch?
Yeah.
Dwight Clark in the back of the end zone? He had 3 picks early in that game.
No, really?
But that's the thing about history, is it's
forget
how
about
you
the
finish.
Bad shit. Yeah.
And so...
No, it's just like they always say, the stat line says so much, but really at the end of the day, it's just who had the more points.
And wins and losses, because Brock Purdy, he did lead them down there on a game-winning drive and looked pretty good.
He did it when it mattered most.
Yeah, so you got to hand it to him for that.
Let's cruise into Sunday as the number 4 Bucks took on the number 3 Lions in Detroit. The Lions roll 31-23 over the Buccaneers. Yeah, this was a game that the Bucks were playing catch up most of the game. So
they were scrappy. They didn't want to go down, and Baker was really trying to keep them in it. Then he threw a pretty bad interception towards the end of the game. But man, I mean, you look at Jahmyr Gibbs' explosiveness. When I was watching this game, that's what I thought. I was like, they can beat anybody, man. You hand the ball off to him. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you got Jahmyr going for 9 carries, 74 yards and a touchdown. Then you got David Montgomery as your 1-2, 10 carries, 33 yards. Not that much, but David Montgomery had been, the lead back for a good portion of games this year with a lot of touchdowns and stuff like that. But
it's a good dose of thunder and lightning. Montgomery's more of the pound it, get 2-3 yards, and then you give it to Gibbs for a big chunk 25-yard play.
Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown with his lovely Detroit Lion blue hair goes for 8 receptions, 77 yards, and a touchdown.
That was cool.
And Mr. Jared Goff, Detroit, we want you, as they said you're good enough for Detroit, I believe was the actual quote. Jared Goff goes 30 of 43, 287 yards and 2 touchdowns. He looks good, man.
He did. Yeah. No interceptions on that game, man. That's pretty impressive.
Which is, you don't want to.
And that's what I really got to hand to the Lions, because it was incredible how Aaron Glenn was able to get some free rushers in there, because like it seemed like on third downs when Baker would drop back, I mean, somebody was right in his face immediately. They had free rushers. They were able to scheme up great ways to blitz, and it really paid off for him, because that's really what sealed the game. Towards the end, they got that interception.
Yeah. Also, which is pretty wild, the Lions now have won 2 playoff games in a season for the first time since 1957.
1957.
Which is the last year they won the NFL title.
Yep. That's what's wild, is like they were powerhouses, and then when the merger happened, and then the whole franchise went downhill.
Yeah.
They got, I think, I don't even think they got a playoff victory when they had Sanders. I think it was just a couple playoff appearances.
Yeah.
Yep.
What else you got?
That's all I got for that game.
Oh, I did want to mention though, Baker Mayfield threw 3 touchdown passes. Threw three touchdown passes, including a 16-yard toss to Mike Evans. Baker Mayfield will be a starting quarterback somewhere next year. I don't know where that's going to be. If Tampa's smart, I would just sign him and keep building that team around him, because you're probably going to get Baker for like 20 to 30, which at this point is a steal for a quarterback.
Yeah.
But yeah, Baker 26 of 41, 349 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Rachaad White was the leading rusher for Tampa Bay, 9 carries, 55 yards, and then Mike Evans, 8 receptions, 147 yards, and 1 touchdown. Mike Evans is basically just like a 100-yard machine.
He's doing whatever he wants, man. Some of those catches were just incredible. This guy is a serious Hall of Fame wide receiver. Another triple-double for Jokic. Fuck. God damn it. This is a close game.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up. But fuck. Man, dude, he's just so fucking good. I started him in that DK league, and he did get me a lot of points. That was cool.
I mean, yeah, you just look at the way Baker was throwing it around. K. Dotton, 65 yards. Chris Godwin, 40. Rachaad White, 36. Trey Palmer, 32. Yeah, if Tampa Bay is smart, I would lock him up for at least a year or 2.
Yeah.
Right,
no, they need to, man. And they... Wow, Jokic is losing it. What are they saying that he...
They're gonna check the replay
to see if it's a 3 or not. Let's see. Oh, that's what they're calling a foul on?
Yeah, they're calling a moving screen on Jokic.
Which it kind of is.
And it does kind of look like it. Also looks like he's driving to the basket, so isn't he allowed the lane? I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's a full screen.
No.
Damn, he's heated. But that would negate a 3 if that holds up.
Big injuries though for the Lions. Guard Jonah Jackson, knee injured in the first half, did not return. Has a slight tear in his meniscus, had surgery, and will miss the NFC Championship game.
Yep.
As I mentioned earlier, Brock Wright with a forearm, hence the signing of Ertz.
Yep.
And what else you got?
Frank Ragnow, really badass name. Probable. Center. Yeah, I can't remember his injury, but yeah, he is more than likely to play, but he did get banged up in that game.
Kind of all bunged up.
Yep.
You got anything else? And that's all I have.
I think that's all I got. They will be taking on the Niners next Sunday night.
Sunday.
Yep.
I forgot what the Sunday Night Football zone was for a second. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways,
well,
let's move into your Chiefs.
I know you're excited about this.
Number 3 Chiefs taking on the number 2 Bills in Buffalo.
Yep.
It doesn't matter where it is.
Yep.
Patty Mahomes is inevitable.
He is, just like Thanos. He gets his first road playoff win.
Was it 16 games now that he's had, if you include that one?
Yeah.
Playoff games?
Yep.
It's his first one in 15.
He's 13-3 now. Passes Tom Brady for the most wins under 30. Now also him and Kelsey.
Yeah, pass Brady and Gronk.
Brady and Gronk with I think 16 TDs as a duo.
Well, guess what? Brady's coming back to pass him again next year.
Nope. It's not going to happen. He's coming to the Raiders. That's what he'll probably do.
Well, he's part owner.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, man, super exciting game here. The Chiefs could not stop the Bills in pretty much the whole first half, most of the third quarter,
yeah,
too.
If you looked at, like, the stats in the first half, you're like, oh, Buffalo's winning by 20.
Yeah.
Because it had, like, 16 first downs and like all this shit, but they're just dinking and dunking.
It was two different sides of the coin, really, where they were just like moving the ball really slow pace, but moving the ball, controlling the ball in the time of clock. And then when the Chiefs go out there, they're just zipping it down the field, average 9 yards per play. They had 8 plays of over 20 yards.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most they've had all season.
All season, yeah, easily. And then the Bills only, I think, had like only 2 pass plays over 11 yards. He averaged 4.8 yards per attempt. Let's see what this challenge comes out to. Are they going to...
Yeah,
they're still discussing it. But, I mean, that's really what they did. They were throwing at screens, halfback screens out to James Cook nonstop. It was killing us. But when it mattered most, Spags' defense came up to get some stops and didn't allow any points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and this goes to show you what just having the playoff pedigree does for you. What was it last year? I believe we were talking about the defense not being able to get them in through the playoffs, and then the defense shows up in the playoffs, and then this year you're looking at the offense and nobody can catch a football, and is the offense going to be able to pull them through? Well, they have one of the best defenses they've had in a long time.
Yep.
And the offense shows up at the most opportune time, and here we are.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are heading into their 6th straight AFC championship with Patrick Mahomes. He has never not played in an AFC championship game, which is bullshit.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Most franchises have only made it to maybe one AFC championship, or maybe never even made it to an AFC championship.
Yeah, I saw something like there was some stat where he has more something than most, like a handful of teams.
Yeah, more playoff wins than like at least 6 or 7 teams, I think.
What'd they say here?
I think there's...
No.
Oh, my...
Jokic is going to be pissed.
That's so...
Called a fucking moving pick, dude.
stupid.
Patrick Mahomes didn't have like a crazy game, and that's one thing this offense really hasn't had to have him do. You know, most years past, he would have to more often than not be over 300 yards passing. This game, 17 for 23, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Pacheco is going to be tough to stop, but he is going to be going up against some of the best linebackers and one of the best defenses in the league.
No doubt
but
about
his
that.
angry running style got him 15 carries for 97 yards and a tutty. And then Travis Kelce finally has a good game. 5 receptions, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's kind of been lacking there in the last couple weeks, I feel.
Yeah,
like.
the last couple...
He'll get a touchdown, but he's not having these big
he had a lot of yards
games
this year, but he only had 5 touchdowns. I think that was his first touchdown since like week 6 or something like that. It was a while since he had a touchdown. The Bills game, I think, the Bills game was the last time that he had a touchdown. Something like that. Either way, it had been a while. He only had 5 the year. Jokic just hit a 3. Look at that.
There we go. Jokic is like, all right, fuck these guys.
Yeah, fuck this.
He's like, it's time.
Yeah. But, big game from Kelce. Rashee Rice stepped up really big.
Yeah, and then, Rashee Rice was huge. He had some really big plays that kept the game going for them.
And then MVS, dude. MVS, who had just completely killed the Chiefs all year long with drops.
Huge catch down the sideline.
Right, first play going into the first play from the second half. Big, like, 30-yard catch, one-handed kind of, like, juggled it. And then he had another really clutch one, I think, on a 3rd down or something. So it was really good to see him get going. But, yeah, I mean, we got to talk about it. Wide right. It happens again.
Yeah, the Bills and their fans may be the most unlucky fans ever. Well, I don't know. Boston fans had a pretty long run there. But to go to 4 straight Super Bowls, lose every damn one of them, and then to have this window with Josh Allen right now, and there's a lot of people now talking about, is the window closed? I brought it up in the beginning of the year when they first had that first skid. Is this
Hot
the
take.
end? It's tough to say, dude. That's a rough one. That was your best chance, to beat KC and finally get over the hump.
There's a lot of people talking that Diggs is going to leave. They have a lot of defensive guys that are probably going to be free agents. Rasul Douglas was just on a 1-year deal. I'm sure Von Miller ain't going to be there next year.
Von Miller, we were talking about it.
Say the stats.
$14 million this year. 14 games played, 0 sacks, 5 tackles.
Yep.
$2.98 million per tackle.
Those are some expensive tackles
Bills
there.
paid for him this year. He looks done. Stephon Diggs, I don't know what it is, dude. I don't know if Father Time just came up out of nowhere and got him or what, but he didn't look the same. That one pass that I don't know how he did not catch that pass. That was one of the most beautifully thrown balls I've ever seen in my life.
It's tough, though. I mean, like, there's only a few wide receivers, like Mike Evans we were just talking about. It's really good at doing it. Like, that can – it is – if nobody's ever done it,
tracking
just try to run at a full sprint and then look up, and then you got to find it in the lights and look for the ball.
Easy,
and fend off a defender. It's not easy. So, but, I mean, you get paid to do it. You get paid millions of dollars to do it. You're at the top of your game. You should catch that ball. But, yeah, that could have really been a big difference maker in that game. But, yeah, I mean, it comes down to it. They had a 44-yard field goal to tie it up. But for everybody out there, I don't care how biased I am, we had 2 timeouts. If they do kick that field goal.
There's a minute 30 left.
Minute 47.
47,
47 left. Very likely that they can march down because we were moving the ball pretty easily at that time. Exactly. All we need is 13 seconds.
But yeah, they had plenty of opportunities to win. They didn't take advantage of them. Instead of running the ball when they had the lead, they're throwing the ball down the field still, and it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, here, let's talk about this one, man. The fake punt.
The fake punt.
That was so crazy.
Damar Hamlin. Why is Damar Hamlin in there?
In your own territory? Yeah. I mean, I think it was on their own, like, 35-yard line.
I'm honestly surprised that McDermott isn't on the hot seat and hasn't been talked about getting fired.
Well, yeah, I've heard there was on PTI, man, Murray just got fucking hammered. Shit. On PTI, coordinators were saying how they should hire Belichick.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Yeah, and I've heard the Falcons are the only team interested in him.
Really?
Crazy, dude.
I thought I saw... Oh, I did see Pete Carroll is going to go interview with the Chargers.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't know how... Maybe that'll work, but his defense has been really weak lately, so we'll see.
But
crazy.
Yeah, definitely crazy stuff. Let's get to the Bills real quick, though. Josh Allen, 26 of 39, 186 yards, 1 touchdown. He is also the leading rusher, 12 carries, 72 yards with 2 touchdowns. James Cook, 18 carries, 61 yards. Dalton Kincaid was the leading receiver with 5 receptions and 45 yards. Khalil Shakir did have 7 receptions for 45 yards and the 1 touchdown. But yeah, Diggs, he had a fumble too, which I forgot about in that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to happen because it's like we said when we got into this was the game that had the most questions for both teams, depending on who lost. And the Bills have lost, and yeah, now the question is the door closing? Has it closed? What are you going to do now? Because what you're doing is not working.
No.
You can't get over the hump. And, the Broncos, not to, go homerism on them, but the Broncos once got to a Super Bowl with John Fox and fired him the next year.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to find the right person to get you all the way to the promised land, and I don't think McDermott's it. To
get over the hump, you got to have high standards, and you look at what the Bills have done in the playoffs. They haven't even made the AFC Championship this whole 6 years that they've had Josh Allen. You've got to think that this is a closing window, and they need to make a move. And I hate to say it, I've always been a big fan of Sean McDermott, but I mean, some of those decisions that he made in that game. I mean, there's a time for a fake punt, and that is not and that wasn't even a good fake punt.
What happened to analytics?
I mean, they hiked it, and I think even DeMar was like, "Am I supposed to do this?
Are we really doing this?"
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh shit.
Yep.
But well, maybe
I did share this, and I forgot about this. I always do because it happened, a good 6 years ago. we got Patrick Mahomes because of the Buffalo
trade,
Bills.
yeah.
Yep,
They
we
traded.
that number 10 pick. They had the 10th pick. We traded up. We sent 3 picks to them. And because of that, we got Patrick Mahomes, who's now defeated them 3 times in the playoffs.
That sucks.
Yeah. It's like the
other
Babe Ruth
big
trade.
things to mention too. Tyler Bass had to disable all social media accounts because of death threats against him and his family, which just sucks.
That's awful,
I
man.
get it, though. Those people are pretty pissed because most of them spent a lot of time shoveling out the stadium
snow,
just to go sit there and
probably a
watch
whole
them
day
lose, dude.
tailgating and jumping through tables.
Lighting themselves on fire, all that stuff.
They don't have much in Western New York. All they have are the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, that's true. But so now the Bills will have to reset, and the Chiefs move on to take on the Ravens next Sunday at 1 p.m.
Daunting task there.
Daunting task indeed. Injuries.
Oh, yeah. Let's cover. We got a big one. Left
Chiefs
guard, all-pro Joe Thuney strained his pec.
His feelings.
His pectoral muscle, his boob, basically.
His boob.
Yep, and he's questionable, but it's very unlikely that he's going to be able to play. And also, Willie Gay had to leave the game to a neck injury that already had him questionable for that game, but he's already come out and said that he's going to play this next week.
He's like, fuck walking.
Yeah, it's not important. Well, he's going to be a free agent after this year, and so he's trying to get paid.
Yeah, and he probably will.
Yeah, he will.
We'll see.
And Derek Nottie did not play in that game, and we also lost Mike Edwards to a concussion, so we had a few injuries in that game.
Shit, yeah, and Joe Thuney could be a huge one with running the ball and protecting Mahomes,
Dude.
because you're going against one of the best D lines in the league too. So.
Yeah, seriously, Jadeveon Clowney has had a resurgence on that D line. It is intimidating, seriously.
Well, that's going to do it for the deep dives, also known as the Divisional Round Hoedown. So we have one more thing to do, and as always, we are going to bring in a man, a myth, a legend, Mr. John Daly, as he's about to hit it hard, man.
Hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, live it large. I hit it hard.
Ice in his veins.
That's probably going to be the thumbnail. We'll do the ice in the vein.
That's what I'm saying, yep.
I don't know what it means, but we'll do it. Yeah, Jokic just hit a dagger 3 to end this game at the top.
Why would they leave him open? Oh, that was awesome. Big win for the Nuggets. There's only like 2 seconds left, I think. 6 seconds left. Wow, against the Pacers in Indianapolis.
That was awesome.
Cool.
So it is time for the Daily Dose of Excellence, where every week we bring you a little bit of excellence to brighten your day.
We got a lot of excellence to bring today.
This week's DDOE is Tara VANDAVEER, the Stanford head coach, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't write that part down, which
Yep,
is a very
Stanford.
important part to have. Tara VANDAVEER, Stanford head coach, is now the winningest coach in NCAA history, men's, women's, or whatever, after beating Oregon State 65-56 on Sunday, giving her 1,203rd win, passing Coach Krzyzewski.
Spell
from
that
Duke.
for you without looking.
I'm not going to spell it. It starts with
Coach
a K.
Yep.
And there's a lot of consonants in there.
Yes, there are.
But yeah, so
38 seasons at Stanford,
38
man.
seasons,
That's
head coach
insane.
since 1985.
She's been the coach there longer than we've been alive.
Not me, but yeah, you. Oh no, yeah, she has
38, man.
38,
Barely
yeah,
by you.
barely by me.
Yeah.
Dang, man.
Hey, I'm almost there. Next, here in a couple months. But yeah, pretty impressive here. Just an icon in college basketball, and Stanford has been at the top of the game in women's college basketball for a long time because of her. They've always been either in the Final Four or right there at the end in the March Madness at the end.
Yeah, and she took them to NCAA Women's Division I basketball championships in 90, 92, and 2021. She stepped away from the Stanford program for a year to serve as the U.S. national team head coach at the 1996 Olympic Games. She was also the 1990 Naismith National Coach of the Year and 10-time Pac-12 Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
It was pretty cool, and she was quick to call out her players, namely Junior Kiki Iriafin. Not sure how to pronounce that last name.
I like the attempt, though.
Yeah. Iriafin. We're going to call it that. Okay. Who had her best performance with
Ibuprofen.
36 points. That's what it looks like. Yeah. And her first name's Kiki. That's cool name.
Yeah.
With career high. But her performance was especially notable with star Cameron Brink sitting out the game. So they won that game without their star.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, and as Chad grabs a drink, Tara VANDAVEER is also one of 9 NCAA women's coaches to win over 900 games and one of 10 NCAA Division I coaches, women's or men's, to win 1,000 games. And she was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in 2002.
And something's kind of a little something to watch out for. She is only 7 wins ahead of Gino Arimana, who is the legendary, I believe that's how you say his last name, something kind of like that. But the legendary UConn coach that has had Deanna Taurasi.
Yeah, they just go undefeated all the time.
Dude, when I was in high school,
they were undefeated for 5 years.
It wasn't even, it was 5 years they never lost a game. I mean, yeah, who am I trying to think of? There's another really famous, Breonna Stewart, UConn. I mean, just countless names that are stars in the WNBA that played under Gino. Only 7 wins behind Tara, so he's nipping at the bud.
Yeah, and he's still going, so we'll see how it goes, because this one might be going back and forth for a little bit.
Yeah, UConn's got a decent team this year. Paige Beckers is healthy now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep, but hats off to you, Tara. Taken over as the king of college basketball.
The queen.
Excuse me.
The queen. Yeah, she's the king, technically. She can be the king. She
whatever
can be whatever she wants.
The presidente.
Yeah, el presidente.
That's right.
El patron.
But this shot is to you, and this shot is to 69, the number of the episode.
Yeah, number 69. So cheers to you guys. Take a drink with us if you are drinking.
Cheers to Jokic for another triple-double tonight.
31, 13, and 10. He's the best.
Thanks for letting us watch that game while we do the podcast, and you guys tolerate our fandom.
Indeed.
Yep. Well, Christopher.
It's that time.
It is that time.
I love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy. Well done.
Well done. Cheers to you, sir.
Cheers, guys.
You guys have a great night. Stick around. We'll be back next week.
Damn right. For number 70.
Till then, you guys have a great week. We love you guys.
Go Chiefs.
Toodles. Chiefs suck. They're going to lose this week. Ravens.
Damn right.
Ravens by 10.